Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
So, last week I talked about the Four Noble Truths of the First Truth. So today we're going to talk about Second Noble Truth. I'm using this book by Ajahn Smero. Actually, he's now Rinpoche Smero. He's a Theravada monk, and this is a book called the Four Noble Truths. So the second noble truth is, this is what Buddha said, Samyutta Nikaya, that's the name of the sutra. What is the noble truth of the origin of suffering? It is craving which renews being and is accompanied by relish and lust, relishing this and that. In other words, craving for sensual desires, craving for being, craving for non-being. But whereon does this craving arise and flourish? Wherever there is what seems lovable and gratifying, thereon it arises and flourishes. There is this noble truth of origin of suffering. Such was the vision, insight, wisdom, knowing, and light that arose in me about things not heard before, and so on. So this noble truth of Four Noble Truths is talking about desires. So there's a cause of suffering is desires, or more attachment to desires. And then there it talked about 3 different kind of desires, but actually, it could connect it to, each other. So it's not completely separate. So one of them is desire for sensual pleasure. That's kama tanha. So, this is probably very easy to understand. Any, sensual pleasure, maybe food, drinks, or maybe movies, or some activity, you like music, or could be nature, or some experience that you feel really sensually, gratified. So, yeah, it's like if you like chocolate or something sweet, so then you feel like, oh, I want that, sweet, something sweet, so like the other day I went shopping for grocery shopping, and then when I was shopping, I'm not gonna buy anything sweet. So today I'm just gonna buy vegetables and then, something, but not, sweet. I don't really need sweet. But when I went home, and then when I finished my dinner, it's like, oh, it would be nice to have something sweet. And then it's like, where can I, so I was thinking about maybe I go back to the store, to drive like 10 minutes, to get to the store to just one piece of something sweet, cookie or chocolate. But then it's like, but that's, just feel like it doesn't justify this, driving. So it's like, what do I do? So then actually, I kind of gave up and just like walking around to sort of like let go of my desire. And then, and then, and there was some strawberries in my fridge. So I was like, this is probably, most, sweet in this house right now. So I got strawberries and some cottage cheese, and then okay, so it's a little sweet, but it was not like a satisfying sweet, but it was, so I kind of like calm myself, So it's this desire for sensual pleasure. It's very strong. So once you attach to it, once you're grasping onto it, it's just like feeling of like a I don't know, like a magnet, and then rationally, this is not, you don't really need it, but just like feeling of this like very strong, like a desire and the attachment to that desire. It's very strong pull. And then, could be something like, something like, seems like a benign, going to hiking and then looking at the ocean, or like a beautiful sunset. But so I was like staying at my friend's house for a little while by the ocean, and I really love ocean. So I wanted to go see the ocean like every morning and every evening, and it was just so like, I have to see it. Even, it's just natural, it's a beautiful place, and it's probably natural you wanted to see it, but this attachment to see that, just feeling the sensation of this watching beautiful thing, it's very, very strong. And then I noticed, I am suffering for it, and then but I still went, it's still like a beautiful, and then sort of like also like when you have that, like everybody has now cell phones, and then you wanted to capture it, you wanted to capture that moment, and then you want to keep it, so that's very, very strong, like a desire. And then when you attach to it, it just kind of grab you, and then you don't maybe notice that's how you're suffering, but so you can think of like any sensual experience you have, and then like other thing is like maybe movies or TVs, and then you kind of have that sensation, like watching like something very interesting, and then that will gives you some excitement that you wanted to have. So you're like surfing, using remote. It's not this, not this, not this one, So, and then maybe you watch a little bit. No, this is not good. Just keep going. Like going one after another, and then you ended up like maybe like just just trying to find something good for like 1 hour without really watching anything. So that's like you're kind of drugged by your desire, and then you don't even realize that's what you're doing. So so you might be very familiar with this desire, and then how you might have experienced how you were drugged by this desire. Yeah, it's so it's very just this is just experience of being human, because we are sensual beings. So it's we are so vulnerable. So we anything like gratifying, we're kind of like easy to get pulled and attached to it. So this second desire is desire to become. It's called baba tanha. So it's like ambition or attainment, or becoming ideal person, or title or position you wanted to get, or like a job, or could be a boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife, or baby. So so like becoming like a I want to be a good mother, I'm going to be great mother. So so and then baby will give me that, experience of, being great mother. So, so that's like quite often, like people will just, this will give me something satisfying, and then so. And then, when you have a baby and then babies start crying and then they don't stop crying and then you're just like, no, this is not what I expected, So then, yeah, that's, so you always like expect something, this is going to give me my pleasure, so becoming something like maybe, so I wanted to become enlightened, so then you will suffer for this, had to be great, great at meditation. I want to get enlightened, so I won't suffer anymore. I want to help everybody, and I'll be inspiring everybody. So I'm going to be great, Dharma teacher, and then that's like so then you will suffer that way, and then I'm going to get something, and there's something ideal, so then you are striving for it, and then it's nothing wrong, but it's still like a very strong attachment to it, and then you might not realize how you're suffering for that, your desire to becoming something. So like maybe you want to become like famous and important, important person. So you really like, work really hard, and then so you want to become something, people admire. But then so that's, so because you're attaching to your idea of becoming, that's, makes you like suffer, like, struggling, that makes you really suffer. So, or like could be like idea, like, ideal situation, that's maybe this is yeah, okay. So the third desire is a desire to get rid of, and then get. So it's called the vihana tanha. So maybe something you want to get rid of, like maybe negative feelings, like a person at work, like really annoying, or like maybe some event, something you think it shouldn't be happening, or yourself could be like, I hate myself, and then, or you wanted to like get rid of your negative feeling, like sadness, depression, and then you were like, you struggle to get rid of it, and then, okay, I'm gonna try this medicine or that medicine. I mean, medicine is not bad. I'm not saying don't take any medicine, but so just like internally, you're like, I wanted to get rid of this. I wanted to get rid of this. That's strong desire. And then you are attaching to this idea, and that's like how you are making yourself suffer. And then I had this experience of working with a person whom I felt very annoying, and then so I would went to talk to this person, and then so wanted to like explain and then talk about it, and then maybe we work it out, and then just so then we can understand each other and then connect with each other, and then that would make my make me feel better. But when I went to this talk, this person was, no, I'm not gonna apologize. So, I know you want me to apologize, but I'm not gonna apologize. It's like, so that made me more like angry. So it's like, so I wanted to like have a peace, so that would make me feel better, but that didn't happen. And then so every time I saw this person, I was like, so wanted to get rid of this aversion. I wanted to, so I was judging my aversion, and then I shouldn't have this aversion. I don't feel good. I don't feel, I'm a good practitioner, so I shouldn't have this aversion to this person, but I'm having it. And then, so I was like struggling to, get rid of this negative feelings. And then, because I was judging it so much. And then another time also, like I was during session, not here, but another place, maybe like 30 people sitting together. And then, that sessions, the title of session was Listen to the Cry of the World. And then, but during the session, I was judging everyone and everything. And I was like, oh, he shouldn't be doing that. She shouldn't be doing this. She's wrong. This is wrong, So I was like, everywhere I go, like my mind was saying, wrong, 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 wrong. So I was like, oh. So then, of course, I started to judge myself for doing that. Like, stop judging. Stop judging. So, internally I was fighting, and it just agonizing, So, but I couldn't really stop, I couldn't really stop me judging myself. So I was like, just sitting, and then just my thoughts just keeps coming up, and then just trying to stop the thoughts with another thought, and just, and I was like, started to cry, like, it's like, no, this is not the session I wanted to have, So, but then like when I finally kind of like cried and just, just kind of like gave up fight, that kind of like brought me finally, you can't do anything about this. My mind is doing whatever my mind is doing. I can't stop it. And then just recognizing that I cannot stop it, that made me feel like, so okay, it's okay, So, and then, so I was telling the Dharma teacher who was leading the retreat, like, and I told the teacher, like, I can't listen. Like, I don't want to listen the world cry. I don't want to listen, And then he said, I'm listening, So I'm listening that you don't want to listen. So, and then, but so you can listen that you don't want to listen, So you can listen that, the suffering of, I don't want to judge, I don't want to suffer. You can listen to that. Yeah. So like this very strong idea of you want to get rid of is also great suffering. I think probably I will suffer more to this than other two. I know maybe this story of Malala, who was a girl, and then she was shot by Taliban because she's advocating for girls' education. And then, Taliban didn't want that to happen. So Taliban shot her in her head. And then her father was interviewed, and then, so at that time, like, they didn't know, who actually shot her. And then, so news reporter went to her father, and then, who shot her? Who shot her? Who shot Malala? And then he said, ideology. So I think, he's very like wise father. So, person who attached to ideology, so that strong, desire to get rid of, that killed, that injured Malala. Malala is fine. She's not. She was not killed. But so it's very interesting how, even you think this is like a, great idea, great. So that's, even you think this is a great idea and great, great for everybody. But if you attach to it, you are going to suffer. And then, because also like you think this is a good idea, might not be a good idea for another person. So, just wanted to make sure it's not like we're against desire. So the cause of desire is not just desire, but it's more like attaching to this desire. And then, so we just need to reflect. So just to understand, how we can make ourselves suffer by holding on to grasping the desire. And then you can feel it in your body, having desire, or like grasping the desire feels like this, So desire for chocolate feels like this, desire to get rid of annoying person feels like this, and that's, so like you can know yourself about how you suffer, make yourself suffer by attaching the desire, because desire is just a thought, so you can also recognize desires also impermanent. It arises and then it dissipates, and then another desire and it dissipates, and then but some desires that are that might be helpful, like to sustain your life. If you just ignore when you're hungry, you're going to starve. So so that's not what we are talking about. So you can identify, like, what is the necessary, the action that you have to take, So is this necessary? Is just like necessary to just keep eating chocolate and cookies? Maybe not, but maybe once in a while, it's okay, So, so just like bring all the thoughts and desire into your mind, and then become more conscious, like conscious about what your mind is doing, and then how much you're following your mind or not. So this is also like connected to the 3 marks of existence, which is anicca, anatta, dukkha. So anicca is just the impermanence. So like what I said before, like impermanence of arising and ceasing. So it's everything arises, all the stuff, all the subject to arising is subject to ceasing. And then, so if you grasp on it, you are going to suffer, because it's going to, if something like makes you happy and you grasp on it, then you're going to suffer when that disappears, because everything, arises and disappears. And then also another part was Anata, like no self. So you think this is my desire and I want this, so I and my and me, and then you are attaching to the idea of self. That will make it like a, really concretize, desire. So that's also you might want to be aware of. So so you can refuse to indulge, and you can, again, like a stepping back and just leaving desire as they are, just like, okay, this is just a thought coming up, and then it's bound to cease. So, and just letting go, and then with no judgment, so so when you let go, you can realize this is the way it is, how our conditioned mind is working like this, in this moment. And then every person has a different conditioned mind, so how you get attached to it is maybe different to each person, but it's not my desire. Desire is feeling, how each person feels desires is, just feels the same, desire is desire. That's so if you can like not identify yourself with desire, that makes you, have a little more space. So, yeah. Wait, where's my clock? Oh, there's no clock. 10:45. Okay, great. Okay. So also another thing is like so desire is making us suffer. So how we can find a peace. So so you can recognize what you're making yourself suffer, and then when you are able to let go, you find little peace. Like when you. So that's why like our Zazen practice is very important. We can practice letting go on on a cushion in a quiet the place. So that's that's kind of like easier to let go. You can see your thoughts coming and going, and then you just keep opening your hand of thought and then keep dropping. That's the our like training ground. So when you go outside and then you encounter something, that's because if you practice letting go on the cushion, it will become a little bit easier to let go. And then so also being like really present, and then so when you can let go of your desire, and then you see like I can see like this moment is fine as it is, just feels like, it's okay. This is as it is, and it's okay. And then you feel the contentment of just being as is. You know, I'm breathing here, sitting, and then, you know, and then just air comes in and out, and then this is fine, you know. So not having not wanting, you know, if you letting go of the wanting, there's little space of like contentment, you know. This moment is okay as it is, you know. If you don't go into your thoughts or feelings, you just like be in this moment and just be, you know, you can just relax into this moment, and then this moment is actually okay, you know. You can just recognize that, you know, without like running around dragged by your thoughts and suffering, thoughts and desire and feelings. You can just be in this moment and just, you know, I'm okay, I'm content in this moment, and then I can appreciate that. So like, when Hojo-san was talking about this, this part was last week, I think. So this is opening the hand of thought by Uchiyama Roshi. So our real life is connected to everything. Our mind conceives of I as only myself, as something independent, but if we open the hand of thought, such a conception vanishes and we can realize I as being one with everything. And it's incredibly difficult to understand this life that is one with all things. I have been practicing Zazen for some 30 years since becoming a monk. And the one thing that is gradually becoming clear to me is that I am one with everything, completely beyond consideration of usefulness. What Uchiyama Roshi said, it's just started becoming clear after 30 years of Zazen. So I think I'm sitting like maybe 20 years. I need to sit 10 more years to, but I do, maybe, you know, some of you or all of you have already experienced this little bit glimpse of that, you know, peace, glimpse of the, you know, we are connected. We are all connected to each other, and then we are one with, you know, everything, you know, one. So the whole world is Vajrayana Buddha. So just one Buddha. So even though, you know, you have negative thoughts or judgment in you arising, that's also happening in the Buddha. And then, so even though you think the part of the world you think it shouldn't be happening, you know, but that's also a part of the whole thing. So it's, you know, you can't just like, then it's everything is connected. So you can't just get rid of this part, you know, so that's not going to happen. So, I'm not sure this is gonna help, but anyway. So this is Majjhima Nikaya, middle length discourses of Buddha, Kakakupama Sutta, positive response of love. Monks, there are these 5 modes of speech which people might use when speaking to you. Speech that is timely or untimely, true or false, gentle or harsh, with a good or harmful motive, and with a loving heart or hostility. Monks, some might speak to you using speech that is timely or untimely. Monks, some might speak to you according to truth or falsely. Monks, some might speak to you gently or harshly. Monks, some might speak to you with a good motive or the harmful motives. Monks, some might speak to you with a loving heart or with hostility. On all occasions, monks, you should train yourself, thus neither shall our minds be affected by this, nor for this matter shall we give vent to evil words, but we shall remain full of concern and pity, with a mind of love, and we shall not give in to hatred. On the contrary, we shall live projecting thoughts of universal love to that very person, making him as well as the whole world the object of our thoughts of universal love. Thoughts that have grown great, exalted, and measureless, we shall dwell, radiating these thoughts which are void of hostility and ill will. It is in this way, monks, that you should train yourself. So this might be very difficult to do, but so this is what we aspire to. Sometimes you feel like you want to let go, some desire or negative feelings, and then you try, I want to let go, I want to let go, and that's also like strong, you suffer that way. So you can, you could just acknowledge you want to let go, but you can't let go at this moment. And then, so that way you can make yourself a little bit more space to your suffering, and then just kind of like I want to let go, but I can't let go right now. But I will let go when I'm ready to let go, and that will happen. And then because you can't really control your thoughts, so there's another. I'm not sure this is probably very provocative one, but I'm. So this is part of the Kakakupama Sutta. I think you probably know this. The Parab of Soul, the soul. Monks, even if bandits were to savagely savor you, limb by limb, with a double-handled soul, even then, whoever of you harbors ill will at heart would not be upholding my teaching. Monks, even in such a situation, you should train yourselves thus. Neither shall our minds be affected by this, nor for this matter shall we give vent to evil words, but we shall remain full of concern and pity, with a mind of love, and we shall not give in to hatred. On the contrary, we shall live projecting thoughts of universal love to those very persons, making them as well as the whole world the object of our thoughts of universal love. Thoughts that have grown great, exalted, and measureless, we shall dwell radiating these thoughts which are void of hostility and ill will. It is in this way, monks, that you should train yourselves. That's very hard. So, but you don't want to wait until somebody's cutting your limb. So, so we can just practice, zazen to cultivate, your love on the cushion. And then when somebody's trying to cut your limb, maybe you can generate love to that person. I wanted to also This is probably like a sort of like a response to the, the Buddha's teaching. This is a poem by Thich Nhat Hanh. This is maybe a famous one. The title of the poem is "Please Call Me by My True Names." Do not say that I will depart tomorrow, because even today I still arrive. Look deeply, I arrive in every second, to be a bat on a spring branch, to be a tiny bird with wings still fragile, learning to sing in my new nest, to be a caterpillar in a heart of flower, to be a jewel hiding itself in a stone. I still arrive in order to laugh and to cry, in order to fear and to hope. The rhythm of my heart is the birth and death of all that are alive. I am the mayfly metamorphosing on the surface of the river, and I am the bird which, when spring comes, arrives in time to eat the mayfly. I am the frog swimming happily in the clear pond, and I am also the grass snake who, approaching in silence, feeds itself on a frog. I am the child in Uganda, all skin and bones, my legs as thin as bamboo sticks, and I am the arms merchant selling deadly weapons to Uganda. I am the 12-year-old girl, refugee on a small boat, who throws herself into the ocean after being raped by a sea pirate. And I am the pirate, my heart not yet capable of seeing and loving. I am a member of the Politburo with plenty of power in my hands, and I am the man who has to pay his debt of blood to my people dying slowly in a forced labor camp. My joy is like spring, so warm, it makes flowers bloom in all walks of life. My pain is like a river of tears, so full it fills the 4 oceans. Please call me by my true names, so I can hear all my cries and laughs at once, so I can see that my joy and pain are one. Please call me by my true names, so I can wake up, and so the door of my heart can be left open, the door of compassion. Okay. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or comments, maybe we can start from in the room.
One thing you said that reminded me of something that St. Augustine said. One thing you said reminded me of something from St. Augustine.
St. Augustine.
Yeah, he's a Christian. They suffer too. Oh Lord, save me from this lust, but not right this second. But I run a chat room online on Buddhism, and there's this one lady. She's been coming in and out of the room for a couple of years now, and she keeps telling me she hates Buddhism, but she keeps coming back to talk to me about it. And the reason she hates Buddhism is because of this non-attachment thing. Like, is a mother not supposed to be attached to her child? Am I not supposed to be attached with affection to the ones I love and care for? I mean, that's her argument. She doesn't like that thing about non-attachment. So what would you say to that person?
Well, I mean, you can attach. I mean, we will attach, and then, but we know we're going to suffer for that. So maybe how we love each other, we can't really change. Maybe you love your children, and you love your daughter, you love your mother or husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, and you are attached to it. You get attached to it, but then, but it's not like a. This is kind of like a nature of the nature of law, nature of Dharma. Once you get attached to it, you are going to suffer. So there's a story of Queen Malika, and then Pasadena, the King Pasadena, I think. He's So Buddha said like the most the loved one, will make you happy, but also loved one makes you suffer. So Queen Malika and then King Pasadena thought about it, reflected, and then, well, that's true. We love our daughter, but if our daughter or something happened to her, we are going to suffer. So it's not like just be cold and do not attach to anything. But this is just nature of our life. Like human beings are vulnerable. We're we get connected and love, and then we'll suffer. But that's it's not like do not love anybody so you won't suffer. That's not going to happen. So
well, we teach loving kindness.
We teach loving kindness, but also like right. So but I guess like yeah. So it's okay. We will love each other, and then when something happens to that person, we will suffer. That's the nature of our life, and then so that's all. But I think like the Buddha was renunciate, so he was more loving unconditionally to all beings without attachment. But he's a enlightened person, so we probably won't be able to do it. But this we just understand. Once you attach to anybody or anything, we'll suffer. So that's just the reality of how being human.
The poem you read by Thich Nhat Hanh, very beautiful poem. Sounds like voluntarily participating in the sorrows of the world.
I mean, we can't avoid it. We can't avoid it. Yeah, I think this is a human. Being human. Being human means we love and then we suffer, and that's the nature of life. And then it's not like we are told to be cold. Right. Thank you.
Any other questions in the room? Comments? Any questions?
I'll
Yeah.
try one. So, I don't know if it might turn into a question, but mostly it's observation. One thing that I'm grateful for you saying, the subtle ways that we can suffer,
Mm-hmm.
the very subtle ways, even if it appears to be sort of moving toward a beneficial thing.
Mm-hmm.
So one example that comes to my mind is before I go to bed, often there's this little thing that comes up in my mind that says, I want to read something. I want to get, I want to read some bit of a Dharma book, or I want to listen to the last 10 minutes of this podcast that I was learning something, about sustainable farming. These things that seem like we're moving towards something wholesome, and then often, but I notice that there's this thing in me that if I don't do that, if I don't open the book or turn on the thing that I can learn from, there's this little thing that is like, I'm disappointed. And so sort of just, and that's been a practice for me to sort of notice, like, that's an interesting feeling. Something is coming up, I can feel what that's like to want a little intellectual stimulation. And to recognize that even though it has a sort of wholesome, seemingly wholesome motivation, even that has this bit of, even that maybe is an idea that is making me sort of justify when really a lot of times I have to wake up at 5:15 the next morning to get here, and so it'd be much better to just go to bed. And there are times when I sort of let that go and go to bed, and it's okay, So just wanted to share that example of how that kind of functions in a daily life way too.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think it's so true, like anything, even, you think it's a wholesome idea, if you get attached to it, you're making yourself like suffer. So it's like in your case, it's sort of like you want to gain something, so that's grasping, that makes you suffer. The many like so-called holy war killed so many people, because they thought it's a great idea. So if you attach to any even you think it's great idea, great wholesome idea, you suffer, and then it's great that you started to recognize, being like even little subtle suffering that could be happening.
Yeah, I think it's also really, it's useful to hear you say that's like a sort of the gaining, an attempt to gain, and we know that Zen practice is sort of grounded in practice without gaining mind, and that's one of the ways that I find in myself, that intellectual part that wants to sort of gain some understanding, or because something in my mind is just satisfied by something making sense, or but if you can just sort of simply go to sleep and accept accept the reality that you're trying so hard to understand, that's more peaceful sometimes. It doesn't mean that you should never, of course, study or try to understand things, but you can also bring that mind of not gaining into studying or learning something, and then it's all just going to function more nicely for everyone, I think.
Yeah, well, thank you, yeah. So like, sort of like a more, more, I want to gain more and more and more, so that perpetuate, So, like you said, like, sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't do it, and then you can feel it, like how different, how you feel in your body when you follow, how you feel, when you don't follow, how you feel, and you can experiment, It's not like okay, I'm not gonna never do this, that's make you more suffer too. So it's like, just be more like, you can be flexible, oh, maybe try experiment this way and that way, and then see, and then you know more about yourself and your suffering. That recognition will help. Thank you.
I thought it was really interesting, Walter, your friend online, that we don't really a lot of times understand the difference between love and attachment. Like to love a child, it's not necessarily the same thing as being attached, because when you're attached, you can't let go, right? I think that's the point. When you let go, and letting go doesn't mean you stop loving, it just means you let them be who they are, not who we have to have them be. But it's very subtle, I think, sometimes. And I know I get confused, like I love pizza, but I don't have to have pizza, but sometimes I have to. Sometimes it's a thin line, I guess. But thank you for your talk.
Yeah, it's interesting to think like love, like wholesome love and attachment, love with attachment, how different you feel, so like attachment maybe more like controlling, you want to have this maybe you love this person because you are gaining something from this experience, so that could be, because this unconditional love is like, you just, you can accept whoever, they are as they are. We're not trying to change, or we're not trying to gain from this experience of being with this person. So maybe it's a little different, without attachment, and then just, wholesome love. Thank you.
Is there anybody from the online community?
Maybe we have a question here.
I'm a beginner to Zen, but I've heard that there's a breathing meditation where you try to let go of your thoughts and you return to your breath. But I've also heard of another way of doing it, in that you don't focus even on your breath. You just let go of whatever comes up. Which method is better?
Well, I think it's you can experiment, but here we're doing just not really focusing on anything, just being, sitting and just, being. What was like you're breathing, your eyes open, your spine straight, and then letting go of your thought. You just keep doing. Just you're aware, you're breathing. You're aware, your eyes are open, your spine straight, and then relax. And then relax and alert. And then any thoughts comes in, you open your hand of thoughts and you drop your thought, and maybe another thought comes in, drop your thought. But if it's really helpful for you for now, if you are focusing on breathing, I think it's you can try, and then maybe try a little bit, and then maybe you can let go of focusing on sometime. Just let's see what happens. You can just experiment it. Okay, so I'm focusing on breathing right now, maybe like maybe a week later, a month later, okay, maybe just let go of the, focus on the breathing, and maybe more like widen up your attention, and then, see how it feels. So, you can just, it's you're your own master. So, you just know, yourself, by the way, that you do.
Unless I'm misunderstanding it, I've been reading Uchiyama's book, Letting Go of the Hand of Thought. He seems to suggest that to return to your posture.
Return to your posture?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your posture is straight, yeah.
Yeah, so like if you get a thought, I think it's saying that let go of the thought by focusing on your posture. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
Can I add a little
Go
something?
ahead. Go ahead.
This is kind of a take on Uchiyama Roshi and opening the hand of thought, but Shinryu Suzuki said, leave the back door and the front door open, let the thoughts come and go, just don't serve them tea.
So this returning to the posture is really a way to return to this moment. So if we're letting go of thought, we're opening the hand of thought, we're not getting on the train with it and dragging, going out of town or sitting down with it and having tea, right? Returning to this posture is simply to return to this, the reality of this moment. So the posture is an element of that, and it is perhaps something we can physically come back to break our preoccupation. But just like with the breathing, once we do that, again, we let go of some idea about posture. So focusing on posture, it's always a series of micro adjustments which we're aware of and not aware of, just in order to remain in this posture. If we're sitting properly, we're supporting ourselves and we're not struggling, and we're not forcing anything, but just to come back to this is the same as opening the hand. It's the same as zazen is good for nothing, and 1 = 0 = infinity, and all of those things is simply coming back to what is this reality right now, right? So posture is a gateway for that, but I think we need to not take that entirely literally. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anybody online that would like to make a comment or have a question? Shall we close?
Yeah, so we can move on to little pieces.
Yeah.